So this is all just, we'll just take questions and get people's input on this.
Yeah, you want to introduce or do you want me to?
You can this time around. Are we going to see who pops up here or what? Okay, we're live. We've been live, I guess.
Okay. Hi, everybody. We are actually testing for our show, Dark to Light, which we plan on premiering soon. And yes, I'm here with David Rodriguez. And
hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all a test run. We're trying to figure this out. So it's really sloppy right now, but we're working out the kinks right now. And we just want to get people's input if we can on what's going on. I know I'm a little blurry in the hat and all that, but this is all just a test.
Yep. And there are some upgrades as far as the quality that we will be working on. But yeah, I just want to get the ball rolling and make sure that this streams through a numerous amount of channels and that we can see people's comments and interact. And here's some interaction. So awesome. Yay. So people are checking in and
nice. So how are we looking, everybody? Because this is the test run and we're going from here. So I'm the most technically illiterate person there is, and I'm figuring it all out as I go. But hi from Washington. All right, I see all this. I see him. You see all that, Laura?
Oh yeah, Erica. Hey, Erica from Washington. Yeah, it's really cool because then you guys can ask questions and we can answer questions. And yeah, I mean, we'll start off with certain themes and have a discussion, and we'll bring on guests, and sometimes we might have roundtables, right? So really looking forward to it. So we're planning on July 8th around 7.
July 8th is the target date. Yes, that's what we're doing, and we're gonna make it happen. We probably need to do a couple more test runs. You think, Laura?
We're really close. So maybe, one or two more. We're just trying to fine tune the quality and just make sure that, everything is sound and ready to go. And we are really looking forward to this. It's so important that we all interact during this time and come together more and, just give each other a mutual support in these, crazy times. It's always been crazy, but this is super mega crazy time.
It's intensifying. All of this is intensifying right now. The frequency is definitely picking up. I think everyone feels it. Everyone knows it. And what we're going to be doing, what Laura and I are attempting to do, is help guide people through this mass awakening that's happening. We would really appreciate if you tell this to your friends, share it, get it out there, because we both want to deliver a very impactful and meaningful message. And I don't mind coming on here and airing out my faults, the blackness that I went through to come out on the other side and really call myself a light worker along with Laura. But you need to go through these growing pains where we're going through them all together as a human species. And basically, I want to start giving, small incremental doses of my experiences that I went through in my life that was very, very black, very, very dark, very, very depressing, to where, while I was a heavyweight champion fighter, lost my career due to my own fault, to drugs and alcohol, things of that nature, and how I overcame it. So I'm here to help and guide people and assist people through these changes. And so is Laura. So we're both looking forward to this very much.
Yes. And I've been through a lot of dark experiences myself, and learned, some tools that really helped me to, carry on and overcome. And so between the two of us, there's a really wide spectrum of personal experiences, and also being in a public arena to, assist those that are feeling victimized or bullied or struggling, with issues. And, between our own personal experiences and, spreading a message in a transparent way, there's a lot of truth downloads that come in, and David has put out a lot of live videos, and that's what kind of put him out in the public eye in a different way, exposing a lot. So these level of exposures need to come back to the self, so that the self can realize or see where they've plugged in and where they've become prey to it, and where they're actually enabling the very things that, if they could see the larger picture, they absolutely would not want to support. So we're helping people with clarity.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason for this show is to help assist people because we understand. I have a clarity about this time in humanity that I compare it to like going to the gym and working out. You go to the gym, you lift weights, you hit the heavy bag, you work out strenuously to go through that pain so that you can become a better athlete and so you can get better muscular development. It's the same thing that we're going through as a human species right now with this transformation that we're going into. We're seeing a lot of ugliness out of people. We're seeing a lot of moral digressing morally. We're seeing the worst out of people right now. But this is all meant to happen at this time so we can grow and adjust and change from it and move into a better transition as a species, as a spirituality. That's why it's called the Great Awakening. The light is being shown on the dark, so we have to face these demons. We have to see them for ourselves, and the only way we grow is through pain. And that's why I use the analogy about working out and all that, because it's painful, and that's how you become a better athlete. And it's the same way in spiritual development as well. It's not going to be glorious fun ride. You grow through pain, and that's what we're going through right now. And that's what me and Laura want to do. That's why me and Laura want to help everybody. This is purely out of both of us coming together and trying to better humanity. At least do our small little part.
Absolutely. And encourage people to, jump into their own personal calling, take that risk, and know that you're going to be supported by, the universe and your own connection to God's source. And however you define that for yourself, once you start to live an authentic life, once you can become more honest with your processing of waking up, and being able to address wounds, in a sort of spiritually mature way, so that you're not acting out and hiding behind it. This is what we want to open up, is that people feel safe and just being raw and real and authentic, because that frequency is going to absolutely crush all these dark controller agendas that really are not wishing for our ability to thrive as a human race. And the more we awaken and stand in that frequency, we will be able to see through the lies. It's not about us telling you what to think and what to do. It's about helping you to be the best of yourself, so that you know how to navigate this journey better, and greater clarity, so that your dreams and visions can actually manifest.
And I think that's what's so important about this time right now in our reality, Laura, is that I believe everything is happening so much quicker. We're going through this bottleneck of time where, to me, it feels like space and time is condensing and it's going faster. And I believe everything we think about, we manifest, will happen that much faster. So it's very important people come together and meditate and pray and pray for a brighter future and positively manifest that. Think about that. So that way we can bring it into our reality. I think that every individual on this planet holds so much power to change the outcome of the direction we're going. And if we can just, I believe it's just 1% can change the other 99% of the people on this planet. So just 1% of us can change the 99% of everybody else, just by praying and having positive thoughts and manifesting a better, more fruitful and enjoyable reality for the future. And I think we all can come together and do that.
Totally. Yes. And so I'm really excited. We're going to get in that flow and probably do 2 shows a month or so. And there's just, a lot that is going to be, developed to, really, do this global shadow work and support people's awakening process. And I look forward to doing this, and we will give some notifications and give you an idea of the exact date and time, but we're shooting for July 8th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 7, 8, 9 Eastern p.m.
Right.
Oh, wait,
so
wait.
We're gonna do 7 Mountain Standard Time. You're on Mountain Standard. You're the same time as me.
Yeah. So we're shooting for 7, which is 6 Pacific, and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So some adjustments might happen, but we'll be putting it out on social media And yeah, please subscribe to Dark to Light on YouTube. And we have a Facebook page. And we will be making announcements about all this, but that's our target date as of now.
Yes, and does anybody have anything to say or ask us any questions? I mean, we'll take some questions right now, Laura and I, because we want to know that this is running smoothly. Does anybody have any suggestions or how they see this going right now? I mean, we'd like to know your input. So could you please throw your input out there so we can see it and we can answer some questions? Because this is all just a really big test. Hopefully there's no lag. I mean, you can hear me good, right, Laura?
Yeah, you seem fine.
Okay.
I mean, the upgrade that we do is going to make it more clear on both of our ends. Alex, are you there? Are you getting any comments or?
I don't know. I don't know, man. My guess is as good as yours. I did the interview with them. Hopefully we can get him on this show. I'll reach out to Charles, Laura, to try to get him on the show. But I mean, it seems like it could be legit. The interview I had with him was a little, put me off a little bit from a few of the things he was saying. But man, that's for you all to decide. Research and do. I'm just a messenger. I just brought the message to you guys. You guys decide. I want to believe it, but then there's so many things that come with it as well. Like, could he be the Antichrist? Could he? Does he have really good intentions? Is he delirious? I don't mean. Is he suffering from psychosis? I don't know. Those are things you all have to decide. Good here.
That's a really good point too. And the same thing when we bring on guests. It doesn't mean that we absolutely agree with the people we bring on. We are just, sharing messages, and the more we know, the more we can see a much larger picture and then decide what we're going to do with that knowledge and information. The one thing that I think we both are in agreement about is to not get yanked into somebody's belief systems or narrative, and be able to look at things from a neutral observation perspective. So that
that's kind of, Laura, to be honest with you, that's kind of new for me, because I've always been very opinionated. So now I'm realizing, like, when we bring on guests and things of that nature, I have to stay neutral. It's like,
we can hear your opinions, but people can take or leave your opinions. But there's so much relatability for you just being raw and real, And I have my opinions too, but we're holding a space that we're not trying to push it on people. It's like. In actual fact, we're inviting people to feel into their own personal opinions, and then we can have respectful and healthy debates and answer questions. And like, there's no attack or belittling. There's mutual respect, because your opinions are very important. Your opinions inspire people, and so I hope you share your vision, your truth, and how you're interpreting things. But yeah, what I feel that we're sharing in is holding a neutral space for people's reaction to it and their own opinions, and holding space and respect for what might be differences.
Someone asked, it's hard to keep the vibes up during these times. Any suggestions? You want to go first, Laura, or you want me to answer
that? Sense of humor, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe you should go first, David. I mean,
the way I'm doing it, stay active, get in the gym, exercise. That always reduces stress and anxiety for me. So vitamin E, exercise, nutrition. You gotta have to put some work into this, guys. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. If you want to stay positive and remain at a higher frequency or higher vibration, work out, eat right, pray, meditate, whatever you got to do, and turn off the MSM, mainstream news. Because to me, every time I turn on Fox or I turn on CNN, it just lowers my vibration every time. I'll turn it on just a little bit to get bits and pieces from what they're saying, so I know what to talk about in the next video, but I don't dwell on it. I watch funny movies, watch comedies, check out, man. You're not, nothing is set in stone where you have to watch the news and get involved. I only do it so I can make a video here and there, but otherwise disconnect, man. Like, the world will take care of itself. Just meditate and pray and do what you got to do for your little corner of the world, and the vibration will affect others, and it'll be a domino effect. It's like, or like throwing a pebble or a rock into a creek and watching the ripple effect. It's a butterfly effect. It'll affect other people. So work on yourself, but you cannot get depressed and turn to alcohol and turn to drugs and do things like that, because you're shooting yourself in the foot. And during these times, they're very hard. These times are very hard right now. So this is when you have to consciously raise your vibration.
Yes, absolutely. Stepping away from all that helps a person to connect with their own creative self and generate that creative vision and connection with your own like multidimensional self, your own connection to your higher self, which links to source and whatever way a person defines that. It generates it into the collective field. It generates it into the collective consciousness, and it helps to break down these dark technologies and these mind control social engineering agendas. And if we don't hold that space for each other to begin to dissolve those detrimental programs that are feeding on our traumas, our wounds, our emotional like anxieties, and and also preying upon and our dreams, on an external level, where they tell you what you want to hear, or they give you a false sense of protection. It's about being able to unplug enough to generate your own personal relationship with creation. And the earth and cosmos holds the intelligence on a multidimensional level to guide us into higher earth energies. If we don't shut this stuff down, we will literally entrain the AI to separate us from our soul, and it'll think for us, and we will lose our rights.
Laura, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like this fifth dimensional, this spiritual battle that we're facing right now, do you believe it's a combination of both AI and demonic presence or negative energies, or is it strictly AI, or both, or one or the other? Like, how do you interpret this spiritual battle that we're fighting on this fifth and sixth dimension that's going on right now? How do you interpret that? Like, how would you tell the people, like, what do you, because I often question that. I'm like, is this strictly AI? Is it both? Who are we? What do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what would you?
No,
okay.
Very great question, actually. The reason I feel, it's both, and, take it or leave it, folks, is the demonic forces and archonic parasites feed on imbalance and feed on lower energies and disconnect from self. A parasite holds the intelligence of how to mastermind a way to feed on a host. That is the way a parasite thinks, how it can get away with having a food source. So a lot of what we're seeing in the world are fallen beings that have literally created a system out of it and created a matrix out of it to continually trigger us into staying a food source and disempowered. And so the AI part of it is part of how it maintains a life cycle, because a parasite can only exist based on what it feeds on. Whereas somebody who's directly connected to God's source and like the earth and things that are of an organic nature are connected to the regenerative power of nature, and they can actually shift their physical body out of this lower density of carbon base into crystalline eventually, and actually experience like the true version of what it means to be an ascended master or a Christed being, or somebody who generates nothing but good vibes and is the override frequency to all this stuff. So the AI part of it is how the demonic forces keep their life cycle alive. So the demonic forces are going to want to, compromise people, especially, when they're locked into addiction. The distortion of sexual energy and the way that people relate to it in the human realm is another way that demonic energies come in. And the reason that the Cabal and the Illuminati and these power forces on the planet that really don't have as much power as they think, they do the satanic ritual abuse, and they bring in the demonic energy to then enforce an AI system. So it's the ultimate satanic ritual, really, because it's through black magic and media and distortions. It is literally sucking us dry and vampiring off of us. Does that
And that's why they're pushing for, that's why all these things are happening right now in the world, this negative current of energy. And I also heard also that the Temple of Baal, aren't they reconstructing the temples or something like that in different parts of the world right now?
I think so.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Statues of like Moloch and Satan.
Yeah.
And no. And then the Antifa's running around. Like, you've been putting out a lot of good videos, like, about these things. What I mean, like, when you see all that, what are your thoughts? Like, they're
just increasing the negative, you know, on a higher level. They're trying to you know, lower the vibration of the planet so we don't make that shift. That's what I see happening at a higher level. On a third dimensional level, everyone's going chaotic and taking sides. Oh, you're either a conservative or you're a Democrat or a liberal, and fighting, you know, dividing up the pie so everyone's fighting against each other. But on a much higher level, they're just lowering the vibration of the planet, because we are in a monumental shift right now. And I think that shift is taking place for some, but a lot of people are falling into the trap of this dense energy.
Oh my God, I just did a video about that. That's so wild. I mean, it's just like, that's why I think it just fell into place that you and I would do a show together. I mean, you know, I mean, and
a lot of synchronicity.
I know. And that's the thing. It's like, we need to, and you've been saying, you know, similar stuff, since you know, became public about this. And yeah, it's truth, folks. It's like, you know, what's at stake is that you're not thinking for yourself, you're not sovereign, and you're not able to, like, hear your own internal guidance. And if we don't polish our bullshit meter, if we don't, you know, view reality from a perspective of, I'm looking for truth and personal guidance, if that's not your intention, it is so easy to get absolutely sucked in to something else that wants to take you over and do it for you, and act like it's for your own good, and act like it's to protect you, and act like these are the necessary measures to protect you from a virus or riots or this or that. And it's just like, these plans have been put in place for a long time. And I was just saying earlier, you know, if people, you know, you've had 19 years to wrap your head around 9/11. If in those 19 years you weren't willing to pursue the concept of psychological operations and false flags, and the things that sort of allow the currency, the human trafficking aspect that is the currency behind how these things are even possible, and the dark technologies, you know, and how it uses us and abuses us, well-intentioned people that don't deserve this. You know, nobody wants to belittle you for maybe not being awake, but you got to get up to speed, because this is the most critical year.
Yeah, I agree with you, because it's like, yeah, children are a currency. Actually, they're used as a currency, and people need to wake up to this. And I find that, like honestly, I find that that's the one thing that does depress me, is that people have not woken up since 9/11. There is a lot of people still asleep. There's a lot of people still blaming the terrorists, and you know, you bring this idea to them, and they'll do anything to protect their ideology, and they go crazy on you. They're like, how can you believe that? No, it was terrorists, it was bin Laden. And I'm like, wow, they haven't even ventured out of that yet, out of that belief system. They haven't even woken up from that yet. But one thing I want to make clear for people is that what I'm doing personally during this time, it's a very hectic, chaotic time. I understand that. We're all going through this together. What I did for myself is I quit alcohol and drug abuse. And I'm a little over 100 days, 180 days sober, but I intuitively knew. I've always had a really strong antenna, like an intuitive skills. I intuitively knew that we were coming into something big, and a lot of things hit me. Now, drinking was my go-to, it was my crutch, right? So without that now, did the problems go away? No, they did not go away. My problems are still there, but I'm better equipped now to face them, and I'm able to face the demons right in their face, man, head on. So I think during this time, a lot of people really need to take initiative of their life and don't fall into a slump. You need to better yourself right now. And I feel, since I quit drinking and all the partying that I was doing, my spidey senses, my intuition picked up crazy. I feel a hell of a lot more clear-minded, a lot more alert. And I feel like maybe, and there's no proof on this, but I feel like my pineal gland has opened up more. It's like decalcifying. The alcohol deadened it. You know what I mean? So I feel like now I'm able to see beyond. I'm getting a lot more epiphanies and visions, and I'm able to see. It's just that sixth sense is picking up, and that's so important in times like this. So if there's any kind of advice I can give to people, is right now is the time. There's no better time than now to just cut the bullshit and clean up your life, because this is when you need to be at your best. This is when you need to be your best self. And let me tell you, nobody loved to party more than me. Nobody went to the bottle harder than I did. So if I can do it, anybody can do this. You got to know that we're facing some hard times right now, and it's going to be a very hard transition. So this is the time you need to put all that down and get right with God, get right with yourself, and become a spiritual warrior.
Beautifully said. It's like having a light for you. I mean, we can die a lot of deaths and still maintain the physical body. We can shed layers and identities and things that we used to be, we don't have to be anymore. And that's why I get frustrated with all the judgment on Trump. And I can also understand the need to hold somebody accountable to maybe a really dark history, but we need to be a lot more compassionate and supportive of the healing journey and understand a lot of manipulation and blackmail happens. And so that's over there. But yes, and you've been calling, that kind of stuff out and you notice that when you're, there. And me growing up in sort of a political, well, I wouldn't even call it political. Eisenhower doesn't feel political to me, but growing up in Washington, D.C. and just having an ability to see through, some of the stuff in these facades, was really eye-opening. So it was easy to want to escape. It's like, nobody's going to listen to me. Nobody takes me seriously. It was a lot easier to just turn to alcohol, to just be like, I'm just going to numb out, because, everybody just is ignoring the fact that this is what's going on the planet. Right. So this window that we're in is a lot more vocal, and there's a lot more willingness to look at this stuff. I've been seeing it for a long time. And that is part of why I fell through the cracks a little bit and wasn't honoring myself, or I took it out on myself because I don't want to, and that's
face the reality.
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard to face this reality. Listen, life is tough. I mean, it is what it is. And I think that we're all going through it right now together. I mean, never before simultaneously are we all going through this as a global consciousness. And I think that's what's so fascinating about this shift right now. And it's like, we need people like you and I to come out and talk about this. Nobody's talking about it. All you do is turn on the news and hear all this negative feedback and these agendas being pushed on humanity. They need people like you and I, Laura, and there should be a hell of a lot more out there talking about the spirituality and the awakening during this process, the positive effects, and how we need to be guided into this, not retract and go into a dense level of vibration. We need to go into a positive direction, and we can manifest this together. Remember, it only takes 1% to change 99% of the planet. So I think this movement that Laura and I are doing is right with the doctor ordered.
Yeah. And it couldn't have been better. And, it takes a lot to just, pull it together. But we're doing it, and it doesn't take a lot as far as the determination and willingness. It's just, there's a lot of kinks that we got to work out. And thanks for everybody's patience. I know we planted that seed a while ago. We planted that seed a while.
I didn't hear you, but I read your lips.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, we planted the seed a little while ago. I think we first did. We first did an interview, a couple of months ago. And
this is why we're doing this, everybody. We're working out the kinks. Let's take some more questions, Laura. That way we can get people.
Oh, it's actually a phone that's been abandoned, so nobody is responsible for shutting it off. It's okay. We're all good. Yeah, I would love to take more questions.
What is an intelligent way to red pill those around us? It's I think what Laura and I are doing right now, you gotta have to be patient because what I've noticed with people, okay, if you go and push your beliefs on them, they retract and they rebel. They go the complete opposite way. So you got to just give them bits and pieces of information, seeds, drop seeds, because and really at the end of the day, people are really they're responsible for their own spiritual awakening. Like I said, you got to take care of your little corner of the earth, and hopefully people are attracted to you and watch the changes in your life. If you're living a life, that's the reason I quit drinking. If you're telling people all this about the spiritual awakening and how to improve their life and what to believe and this and that, and you're all getting drunk at the bar, why would they listen to you? Or you're doing things to negatively affect your life. Why would anybody listen to you? Right now, this is the time when God calls upon His soldiers to take a stand, and
Walk the talk.
that stand means you got to sacrifice in order to be a better example to others.
Yes, and it's not going to be easy for some, and it's a process. And that's okay. And I was surprised that I dreamt last night that I went bar hopping with Trump, but like Trump and but we both agreed that he's like, I don't really drink. And I'm like, I quit drinking. And so there was like one Pabst Blue Ribbon that I think we sipped off of, but like the rest of the night it was just kind of weird and metaphorical. And anyway, it doesn't matter. That was just like crazy dream, which inspired me to do my last video on YouTube. But, Dave is absolutely correct. I mean, if we don't embody our spiritual truth and we don't make it a way of life, we're living in a contradiction. We're living in compartmentalism. We're living in, almost a hypocrisy, and I don't want to, throw harsh words, there's no real judgment. There's just unconditional love from source that we're all, able to tap into. But we can't live this division between higher self, lower self, where lower self is our lifestyle as humans. Higher self is just something that we do when we meditate or go to church.
Right.
It has to become a way of life.
Yeah, I agree. Laura, what do you think we cut it here? Because I got another call I need to get on, and I think we tested well. I mean, I'd like to take maybe another question or two. Would you?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, because I mean, we basically we're basically going on 32 minutes. So, all right, Laura, I'll let you take this question.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I talk a lot about DNA and uncovering the mysteries of junk DNA. And yes, I mean, absolutely, that's what we're going back to. We're in a game of, I don't want to say the word game necessarily, but it's been like, okay, for lack of a better word, a game of lost and found. And that's part of the free will universe experience, where we have lost ourselves and we're rebuilding and regaining ourselves. But if we don't understand the traps, the manipulations, the mind control, and the tactics used to keep us from the fullness of ourselves and our need to purify, have compassion and integrity to begin to earn our way back into these higher levels of awareness. I mean, we are our own gatekeepers based on the things we allow to mind control us. So we need to take a hard look at ourselves and look at, the energetic frequency of the seals and frequency fences that have been put in our DNA, and also, the frequency fence that has encased the planet and has put us in quarantine. So, we need to have a strong and honest look at all that. And absolutely, we're going to return to it because it holds dominion, just like spirit holds dominion over the physical plane. But the mind control makes us feel like the physical plane holds dominion. That's why there's illness and injustice and disease, but when we begin to wake up and access these other strands, it's like we can transmute stuff real easily. We can do hands-on healing, but we're not going to be able to do it if we're schmucks and we're treating other people like shit. And we're going to have a show where we're going to be able to drop F-bombs. I hope that's okay, David. But yeah, it's like we're not going to be able to access these higher planes without integrity and compassion and really understanding our galactic history that has been stolen from us. We don't learn that in the school systems. We have been kept from
the indoctrination camps. That's what I call them.
And the death sciences have made us accept this death, aging, reincarnation, being on this wheel cycle, when there are greater sciences that are going to help us to recover our ability to transform into way more advanced beings. What are your thoughts, David?
I probably could have said it better. I agree with you. I mean, you just went into a big spill right there. That's nice. I like the fact that you said we could drop F-bombs in there because that's what this show is going to be. It's going to be raw and very blunt and very, in your face, hard hitting and in your face, I guess you could say. It's going to be a very, I'm going to bare my soul on this show. I want to help people. I want this show to be very, very impactful. So you want to take another question, Laura? One more?
One more for sure.
Let's do one more.
Yes, and I'm the same. I'm going to be transparent. And anyway, if anybody like lip sync, like so, it was like there's people like way outside, so I'm not like yelling at anybody, but it's too funny. But yeah, one more question, and yeah, I'm willing to be transparent. I mean, I've been a public person for a while, and I've been pretty transparent, but I'm willing to be way more transparent. And David, you're holding such a great like space for that, and the more permission we have to be real and like work our shadow stuff, healing is guaranteed. It's the denial and the acting out and the denial. Oh, I said denial and acting out and, giving your power away. That's the problem. We have to be willing to be real. And this is our intention. Okay.
You want me to grab this one?
I grabbed the last one.
All right. What is the virus all about? Thoughts. The virus is 100% for the vaccine and control. It's not social distancing. This is social conditioning. This is 100% for. It's a problem, reaction, solution. I know you all have heard David Icke talk about this. Create the problem, get the desired reaction, and then have the solution ready to go. That's all this is. What they're doing is taking away our human interaction and basic human rights. By wearing a mask, social distancing, keeping away from each other. Then they're going to make it, they're making a mask mandatory. All this is leading to the vaccine. End result, end game right there. Vaccine, what's going to be in the vaccine? My guess is as good as anybody else's, but it's not going to be good. I think it's going to be tracking. I think it's going to be control. This is a globalist hit. This is a globalist agenda. I think this also has more to do with 5G than anything, the towers. That's my opinion. That's very controversial, but to me, this is all about bringing forth a vaccine to control and manipulate humanity and track us. There's no other time in the history of man that I have ever seen control a world population the way they're doing it now. This is insanity. And everyone's taking the bait, hook, line, and sinker. And we're walking straight into the vaccination. And everybody, this is it. This is go time. This isn't a scrimmage. This is go time. We're here. So when this vaccine comes out, and you start seeing celebrities talk about get vaccinated, have courtesy for your fellow American or your fellow human being, get vaccinated, stop COVID in its tracks. They're gonna make it, and if they don't make it mandatory, right? If we get a liberal president in like Biden, it's gonna be mandatory. Trump, it'll be voluntary, but they'll make it mandatory in the sense that even if Trump's president, businesses will have to have it for their employees. They're gonna have to travel with the vaccine. If you want to get a passport, you want to leave the country or travel anywhere, you're gonna have to get vaccinated. To go to the NBA games or a concert, whatever, you're gonna have to be vaccinated to prove you got the vaccination to go do anything in public. It's going to be, and that's what we're headed for. So if you don't get vaccinated, you're going to be living a life of quiet desperation because you're going to just be sitting at home. It's going to be boring. This is what's coming. This is exactly what's coming. So I hope you're ready for this. This is hardball. This is about to get This is about to get really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I hope you're able to. You're going to have the mental and physical fortitude to overcome this and be strong for this because you're going to have to buckle up. It's going to get ugly. And it's going to test everything that you're about as a human being. It's going to test everything in your soul. And that's what's coming.
Absolutely. Well, really well put. And we're hanging on the cusp of a huge and major decision. I mean, the fact that people have not done their research is a huge part of the problem. And that information has been put out there. And these terms that allow denial to perpetuate, like, oh, conspiracy theory, like all these different tactics to belittle the important truths coming through, and the projection that it must be political, or it must be this, or it must be that, anything to avoid the harsh realities. I mean, and it's understandable. So there's a lot of compassion. I mean, nobody wants to face the harsh realities. It's just, if you're in a partnership with somebody and you have a loyal agreement, you don't want to hear from somebody that they're off at a bar cheating on you, right? You know, it's like, no, they would never do that. Okay, that's the first stage. The second stage is, okay, let's accept this reality. And this reality is, we are hanging on the cusp right now. And all the medicines and healing we could possibly need is already here. People are literally so sucked into these like mad scientists and these, you know, people that are experimenting upon us and have been doing mind control and psychological operations and experimentation since God knows how long. I mean, you know, and it was definitely like amplified in the Second World War and Project Paperclip and all these things, Project Mockingbird, and how that infiltrated the media and most power structures. I mean, what's at stake is the inability to think for yourself. And it's not about having to agree with somebody else. It has to do with like the loss of soul contact because of these, you know, trigger events. And so the medicines are out there. There's Chinese practitioner, acupuncture, naturopaths. You can find a health food store in town that will literally, you know, expose you to, if you do your research, major medicines and supplements that can counteract most viruses and bacterias. And, you know, it's like, you're going to get shot up by some mad scientist who is like, what is like, seriously, turn off the freaking television, people. Like, you're freaking me out. Like, I don't know. I guess I expected better. And it's not like supposed to sound judgmental, but do you know what I mean? Like, do I sound like
100%.
a jerk?
100%. And that's how I feel too.
All the solutions are out there, and people are literally looking towards people that have a track record that is really dark and really creepy. And they're just so like, ooh, it's like, I don't get it, you know, but I do get it, but I don't get it.
I'm really losing. I mean, I hate to say it, but if I felt like if I couldn't be proactive and do something now, that I have to feel like I'm contributing my little part, you know, and that's what I'm doing with this show with you, Laura. So, you know, that's where I'm at with this. But are you ready to wrap it up? Because I got to get on this other call.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, and I don't say anything in like judgment, but the thing is, the things that we're fearing, there's an abundance of solutions. The earth is made of herbs and you know, all the healing frequencies and energies we need to overcome this. And yeah, so we're just looking out for you. And thank you all for tuning in. And we will update you, but we do plan on July 8th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And if we have to adjust it, you'll know. And please subscribe to our channels. And yeah, we're all in this together and holding hands and rehabilitating with mutual love and respect. And that's the priority for me. So any final thoughts for you?
No, I'm ready. This is a good test run. I think we got our message out there. I think we're going to have a killer first show, which is July 8th. And here we go. It's blast off.
Blast off. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, David, for just being willing to merge, you know, our mission and everybody else too for participating, because you know it's all of us. It's not about hierarchy or, you know, it's about building community. So
collective consciousness.
Awesome, totally.